What's up, guys? Okay, so the audio is going to be a little bit bad now because I'm just finishing up on this bracket here. But the reason we're starting the video off in the shot is we're carrying on now with the E30 325is, and we're going to take a walk through that vehicle now. But I just want to show you guys quickly what we've actually got to go through when we're doing a nut and bolt restoration. One of the things is a lot of the guys that actually do nut and bolts, what you do is you'll strip the car down, get a bag or get your packets packaged, and get your bolts and nuts packaged, and they mark them, and then they normally get sent out. And yes, that's all good and well, but we choose to do it a little bit differently because we're able to play with the colors, and I'm going to show you why now. We actually got something done in plating. But just to go through the process of it, right? Normally we'll find your brake pipes looking like this here. This here will get cleaned up. It goes through a whole acid process before we can actually get to having something looking like this here. So this here looks clean, but this is basically raw metal at this point in time. So you can see here, we've got all of these here prepped already. These are just, they're starting to not corrode, they're getting dry. But it still gets acid up before it gets into the plating solution. We have to go through this whole process basically to go through the nuts and bolts. Just an example quickly, these are your door hinges here. This is a bracket, this is actually your cubby bracket. These are your fuel and brake line clips that goes underneath the cars. This is your bootlet, your boot hinge, if I can call it that. This here is actually your heater box brackets. Then there's a whole lot more that we've got to go through. Your headlight adjusters, and the list goes on. So we'll actually insert a small snippet quickly of all the nuts and bolts that's actually done on the vehicle so far, right? This here, for example, this is wiper mechanism, clips, grommets. This is your ABS brackets around here. The ABS pump is already being cleaned and restored. So we'll go through that now, but just to show you what we've got to go through here. So we've actually got items that are done in plating at the moment, and this is the difference with doing it in-house, right? Is that we can actually play with it how we want to. So please don't mind my mixture here. This here is, we don't do plating for a living. This is basically based for our projects. So what I'm currently doing now is taking it out of the solution, right? So I've gone through the whole cleaning process from where I showed you now. Then it still goes through another degreasing process, rinsing. It goes through acid, it goes through rinsing again, and then into the solution. So I've got to keep them all preheated at a certain point, and then I've got my power supply on that side there. So as you can see here, this is basically electroplated now. So this is not nickel plated, this here is zinc plated at this point in time. So I'm just going to give it a quick rinse now, and I won't mark anything out because I know what is what by now. And if you guys had a look at how many bolts we actually got to go through per car, becomes second nature. So now when you send bolts and nuts out to an electroplater, they basically batch it, put it together, and you'll get the bolts back electroplated, but you'll get it back in like a lightish yellow, and you got no choice from there to play around with any of the contrast or any of the colors. So this is where it's a little bit different for us because we can actually play with it. So you got to time this here at a certain point to get a color out of it, right? I've got my timing now, and I've got my temperature set to a certain, and this is how we can get it out. So obviously when it starts drying, I've got to rinse it out quicker. Once it starts drying, you will pick up that you start getting a nice green tint to it. So I'm going to pick up one of the other bolts as we go along, but this is basically plated. So I'm going to leave this here in now. While I'm busy with the video, I'm actually going to get another set in for plating, right? And I'll show you just a rough, very rough process of getting through a vehicle. So remember, we've got to go through door locks, we've got to go through your hinges. These are the hinges that's visible to you, but these brackets are not visible to you. These are sitting at the back. Then you've got spacer plates to them. That sits in between the body and, yeah, you don't see these things here. So a lot of the times when we say nut and bolt restoration, and a lot of people have the famous question of asking me, how much does it cost? It's so hard to give a price because people think that it's a spray. Again, I'm going to reiterate on it. It's a spray job and a this and a that. And it's not. This is actually the process that we've got to go through. So you go through each nut and bolt on the vehicle like this here. So what I'm doing now is I'm just giving it a quick rinse off. So any grease from our fingerprints, from our fingers or picked up from the table, they'll get washed off from here. So this is now raw metal. Just gonna leave my guy here. We've got one rinsing solution out here, and then I'm gonna give it a quick dip into acid. And don't shout me about not wearing gloves and not wearing masks. A lot of the guys will tell you when they walk into the shop, I'm either busy on the phone, busy with customers, or I've got to basically multitask. So I know my limits. I know where to stand, where not to stand. I know what to do, what not to do at this point in time. I'm not justifying it. Sorry, I'm not condoning it, but we do a lot in one day. Okay, so basically this is as clean as we can get it now. So I'll just give it a last rinse over here, and then I'll get it into my plating solution. So you're catching me, or you're catching this plating solution at day end. Basically, we've already been through a couple of 100 bolts through here. So you'll see my copper bar is dirty, that needs to be cleaned, but this is going to be the last batch for the day. And then I just have normal pegs, basically just to keep it stable, so we have constant conductivity through it. And then I'm just going to get amperage up to about, so there is a calculator that you can use for amperage, but again, I've been through this quite a bit, so I know more or less at what amps to plate with, where it's going to fluctuate to. It fluctuates. I don't want to get it past 5 amps. So 373, 374, it's a bit stable there. Leave it there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the timer so long while we carry on with our video. So I normally run the time on my watch quickly, and I'm going to leave it in for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes gives us a good passive weight, a good plate. While we are here quickly. So this is headlights slipped up. This is how far we go. So this guy's getting electroplated. This guy will get polished out. This one we're going to change out here, but we've got an original Hella Smiley for the vehicle. So we've opened it up. The casing is still good on this one here. We're going to reuse the casing. We will have it resealed afterwards, but then we're also going to do a, sorry, before I move on to that, this here will get cleaned up as well. We can't really electroplate onto this. This is plastic, but we can polish it up and we can clean it up. So I'm just going to use this face, for example. The face will come off. It is a Hella unit, but this is just an example of one of the sets that we got. So I'll see if I can try and get this here cleaned out. I might replace the reflective behind it, but we are going to do a podcast with Matsepo from Sonex, because she's going to be polishing the glass for us from the inside and outside. So we should have a fairly good looking headlight from there, which will still be a Hella headlight and not a depot. So you guys know how much I love depots. So quickly, we're just walking through the shop. There's still a lot of cars parked outside. We are basically going to carry on now with the vehicle. So the vehicle has just been placed on the trolley quickly. We've got the underfloor heat shields and matting out for it already. This has to get washed up. So we're actually going to do a product launch or product review on one of the Sonex products, so we get this here looking good, which is actually good that you guys are seeing it now, because this is faulty. So just an example of, this is not all that we supposed to have out there. This year we've done the dust covers we've done before, but we've actually replacing them because these ones have got dents on it. The pedal boxes are done. The bolts for the pedal boxes are here. So let me actually grab this guy. So if you look at the shine that I was telling you about, it's very hard to polish this guy up, but you will get between the gold, the purple, the green turns coming in, then you know that your plating is good. This is a couple of bolts that we have done. So this is a bolt, and you can see how it's wired up here. This is the tint that you actually get from it. So we're able to play with a darker, richer tone of gold onto it, as to the light gold that it normally comes with. Now, if you can have a look here, this is basically powder coated black. So we're on a matte black on the pedal assembly, and this is the gold contrast that we should play with. So we've got new bushes that come in here. Okay, while I am on this mat, let me just go through items that are done. This is a boot lock that has been done. The boot lock has been done. This is the wiper mechanism motor, so that's powder coat already. You've got the push, your push holdings there. Show you something stupid. This is your bonnet hinge that you don't ever see. This is plated. These are your door handles. So your door handles normally bolt onto this guy at the bottom here. So the lever that you see on the outside of the door sits here, but this guy is done as well. This here is for your window mechanisms. So these brackets here, and there's a whole lot of bolts getting done for them as well. That's for your window mechanisms. You're never gonna see these things here, but again, these are done. Your window mechanisms have been opened up. They've been stripped out completely, and they've been cleaned out, re-greased, and put back, and they've been tested now again before we strip the motors off, and you should actually feel the difference on how smooth they are. There's door locks there. The heater box is in pieces here. The heater box is in pieces here, so you'll see, how do I say this here? You'll see that what we done was, these are still going to get done. We're still going to get the oversprays from the previous build off there, but this here will get replaced because there's a hole in it. But everything else is done on the car. So your heater box, you guys, you have seen previous videos where the heater box gets stripped up and put back together. If we go along this way here, we've got fuel pipes here, we've got the windows that we're still busy preparing. So we're not assembling the vehicle as yet. We're busy getting the vehicle up for preparation, right? If I go through this here quickly, let's start off where, and I was going to do the end video, like how I promised you guys that I'm not going to have snippets in between the builds, but you know what, guys, I couldn't resist and I couldn't help it. I wanted to show you guys the process in between. We'll still do the end video and so on like that, but we're going to carry on with the build as well. So you guys all seen this car come out of paint. The doors and fenders haven't been cut as yet. The back fender, we just done a quick cut on the back fender and we showed you how that came out. So we still have a little bit of dust particles on here that's got to be cut out, but we'll do that at the end. We've started now with the wiring harness. The wiring harness is pulled through. It's been tested. The fuse box has been opened up, cleaned up, tested all, and basically all the terminals have been cleaned and sprayed. So we're ready for our relays, fuses in there. The harness has been placed in the vehicle, right? But I want to show you quickly, and this is hats off to Halton for taking the time, and this is where he's taken his time and he's taken his patience to get through every single clip on the harness. And if you look here, if the camera can just come around here to behind the valence, I just want to show you a small stupid thing. Look at all these clips here. So all these clips running in, we still got some plugs that need to get put on to them. There will be plugs like these here, and then we have the clips or the cover plugs coming over that. You'll see they're all new lugging on here. But if you have a look at these cable ties here, you got the correct cable ties in the correct positions everywhere. So they're sitting all over here, and you'll see more inside the vehicle. You can see over here. So we're trying to pull the harness as close as possible as it came from BMW. Please don't mind the black screws here. That will be changed. If you go through the interior of the car, you'll see where all the clips are placed. You'll see how the harness is actually laid down. So obviously behind the dashboard, because the dashboard is not in, you'll find the harness laying like that, right? But it's basically placed in position for the dashboard. But on the floor, just, if the camera can just wait there. Lucian, if you can just wait there with the camera. I want to show them here quickly. So the harness is placed down basically as to how it would lay once the carpet is on. So we've got clips on in the right places. There's clips here, there's clips here, and we don't know what's the name for it, right? But we're going to call it a cable tie, a factory cable tie. These cable ties are all in place. They're all put in where they need to be. I think we ran short of one here. One must still come here. I'm trying to get the clips that hold the harness and battery tray into this position here, and there's another cover. It almost looks like a masonite cover that comes over the side here. So even if you look at the back, you can see these are not factory cable. They're not aftermarket cable ties. These are all factory cable ties that are being used and been found and hunted down. BM doesn't have all of them, so we got that in place. Then after this, yeah, we should go with a sound deadening procedure, of which we were discussing now. Alton and I were discussing of how we're going to run it before the window mechanisms come in. So we've got, I'm going to call it a small secret, and that's a radical secret as to how we keep the cars quieter. And that's how we're going to insulate it. I'm not going to let it out now. But we're going to get it insulated first, get the sound deadening sorted out. Then we're going to get the window mechanisms on. So it'll look so good. And we'll have a lot of videos in between that to show you how the mechanisms look. Do me a favor, hold on quickly. You can get on recording, but Halton, do me a favor. The bars that come, it's not the handle, the bars that come from your handle to your inside lever and to your lock, the short bars, I electroplated them. Just ask Gideon for them quickly. I want to show you these bars here quickly, right? And we ran them they normally run from your mechanism, yeah, to your locking mechanism and basically to your handle. But I'm going to show you how that looks, and you guys will just have some sort of an idea. I'm actually going to move this box away, just so I can close the door a little bit for you, so you can see. Is it good enough? So basically, running in here, right? And I'm going to show you how that is going to contrast out with your silver mechanism, your gold bolts on your black handle. Your door locks are redone. Those are your covers are in black and gold. Your lock itself is gold, but your covers are in black. And on the white, we've never really built a white car. I think it's going to contrast out properly, but we're also going to have to get the sound deadening looking proper. And I don't really want to do the sound deadening that we get now off the shelf, which has got a silver shiny finish. I think it's just going to, I think it's not, it's going to make the car look cheap. Look, it does the job, it's expensive. But just that silver finish, I think, is not gonna work. Okay, so here's the timer going off. We'll have to get back there now. I'm gonna give it another 5 minutes in plating. Yeah, those ones there, please. Come, it's fine. He doesn't want to be on camera. He's hiding away from the camera, yeah. Okay, so these are the handles I'm talking about. These are electroplated. So we got them silver. We didn't go gold on these guys. And these here normally sit on the inside of the door. So it's small things like that, and they got grommets running on the inside. That's to avoid your rattling that you hear when you're driving. So we get the grommets on properly, get them on properly. But you've got the contrasting basically of your mechanism that's clean, your window that's polished, your rails that are cleaned up and newly re-greased. Then you got your zinc plated or your nickel plated rods that's running in between here, and you got your gold. I really think I know it's going to look good. So that'll be in our next video, and we'll get that shown to you as well. Quickly, while we are on this vehicle, I just want to show you guys, the last time I done a video on this vehicle, the car was on the rotisserie, and I told you that we didn't do the rubberizer on the bottom of the car. So I want to show you guys how that looks now. That has been done, the seam sealer, and I want to run through the seam sealer with you guys as well. This is the rubberizer. This is the finish that we got on the vehicle. So we need to still get all these grommets, and sourcing them is a problem because the agents don't have them. But this is the finish that we got. We've got the seam sealer on in the right places, and we found the correct, what's the word I'm looking for? We found the correct texture to the rubberizer, and I think it actually came out great. So what we've done differently on this vehicle, right, is that normally we'd go with the color code and then the cappuccino finish in the exhaust tunnel, the prop shaft tunnel, the gearbox tunnel. This time we said, you know, we know it's a restored vehicle. Guys, we're not going to follow the same way that BM done 20 years, 30 years ago. That was their way of doing it. We know it's a restored vehicle. It is done to factory spec, but we can change it a little bit as well. So we've gone with the same glossy finish over the rubberizer right through the undercarriage of the car. So when you get your fuel lines running in there, you got your silver fuel lines running in there, you've got your matting running in, your padding running in, your black, and your petrol tank that's black with the gold in between, your silvers in between. It's gonna look good. So that's all for the next video. Then I just want to show you guys quickly on the seam sealer. We were here in the engine bay, but I forgot to show you. Let's actually look at that tower there. Look at how the seam sealer came out. So we've actually copied an original E30. And firstly, I first got a nozzle in and so on like that, and to try and make it as neat as possible and clean as possible, but it doesn't come out that way there. So any original E30, you'll be able to see that it was actually used before with a brush. So we got it looking, so the E30 that I used was the Barnfind IS, because we know that it's close, we know that it hasn't been tampered with, and we got the sealer done everywhere along the way it should be. So this guy is actually going to look the part, and in the next week or two, when the next updates come on, you guys will see the progress, and you guys tell me what you think of that. Okay, I think that's enough for this video. Yeah, I don't want to show you guys too much. So I wasn't supposed to show you anything, but guys, you guys know what to do. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment. Tell me what you guys think of the build so far. The colors are gonna work out. So we're gonna play with our own colors. We're not just only gonna go with the factory colors, but we're also not gonna make it look like a custom car. It's not a custom car. Drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think. You guys know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, do what you do, and yeah, wait for the next video. Cheers, guys.